Hello, World Typology welcomes you. September 15th, 2021. Why conflicts arise? A new relationship cycle in typology. Why conflicts arise? The innate relationship cycle is a cause. When different people have a contact, it may cause a friendship, neutrality, or conflicts. This is because they have different innate life views. Moreover, all people will always protect their views. When you try to punish or educate them, it will not help to change their stable life views. And in effect, it will only make them feel upset, angry, or depressed. In other words, it will create conflicts between people, and this will not help to create an order. That is why the relations of 8 inborn groups of people are the most important and influential relations of an international and state nature. Such relations have a stable pattern, so it can predetermine and predict wars, crime, and conflicts between people. When at first time one person meets another, the superficial judgments about the personality work. In fact, all personal human qualities and values will be noticeable much later. After a certain time, each person shows to others his innate interests and life values. And all these interests have a direct relation to the preferences of his innate group. Therefore, we have a logical diagram and pattern for you that shows a cycle. This cycle describes which innate groups of people may have conflicts with each other and capture each other. The other cycles describe which groups strive for neutrality and live peacefully. This cycle's information has its own factual evidence and connection with the history of mankind. You need to remember the pattern and diagram of such relationships. There are only 6 types of relationships between 8 innate groups of people. The first one is the worst, which we named capture relationship. Number 2, pressure. Number 3, friendship with benefits. Number 4, beneficial neutrality. Number 5, total neutrality. And number 6, relationship of understanding. What kind of groups have such relationship between each other? The group Pharaoh has first relationship towards the group of Marxists. So they apply first relationship. The group Marxist apply their capturing relationship towards the group Toastmaster. The group Toastmaster, they attack, women capture, the group of Ethnos. The group Ethnos doesn't like and attack the group of Virtue. The Virtue group, they apply first relationship, which is called capture again, for the group of cognitive people towards this group. And the cognitive group applies the capture relationship towards pilgrim. The pilgrim group applies capture towards patron, and the last one, the patron innate group of people, attacks Pharaoh group. So there is a cycle in this type of relationship. There is one more nuance you have to remember. This is very important nuance, that some of the groups, they have not only one type of relationship, but they can have 2 types of relationships. But we'll talk about it a bit later. But I will tell you that, for example, the Pharaoh group, they can attack the Marxist group, so that the Virtue group can attack cognitive group. But these two groups, pharaoh and virtue, they also have the relationship number 4 with these groups. So that means that they usually do not attack the Marxist group. The pharaoh group does not attack Marxists, and the virtue group does not attack cognitive group, because they also have relationship number 4 with these groups, which is called beneficial neutrality. That means that these two groups, they apply the beneficial neutrality at first, and after that, if there is something that they do not like, they apply the first relationship. That's how it works. Some other groups have also pressure and friendship with benefits. It's the same as friendship with influence. Relationship number 2 we call pressure, or education or pressure. Here is such a cycle. The virtue innate group, they put pressure on the Toastmaster innate group. Toastmaster innate group put pressure on cognitive group. Cognitive group, they put pressure on ethnos group. Ethnos group put pressure on pharaoh group, and pharaoh group put pressure on pilgrim group. Pilgrims, they put pressure on Marxists group, and Marxist group put pressure on patron group. And the patron group, in turn, they put pressure on virtue group. So these groups, they educate each other, they try to influence each other, and put pressure on each other when they have relationships with each other. Relationship number 3, friendship with influence or friendship with benefits. Here is such a diagram and cycle that we have. Virtue innate group of people, they have friendship with influence on the Toastmaster group. The Toastmaster group have friendship with influence on the pharaoh group. The pharaoh group have friendship with influence with pilgrim group. A pilgrim group, they have friendship with influence with virtue group. The group of patron, they have friendship with influence with cognitive group. Cognitive group have friendship with influence and put this influence on ethnos group. And ethnos group have friendship with influence with Marxist group, and Marxist innate group, in turn, have friendship with influence with patron group. The number 4, relationship number 4, is beneficial neutrality. Here we have such a cycle. The pharaoh group have beneficial neutrality with Marxist group. That's relationship number 4 I mentioned before. The Marxist group have beneficial neutrality with virtue group. The virtue group have beneficial neutrality with cognitive group. Cognitive group have beneficial neutrality with pharaoh group. Ethnos group have beneficial neutrality with pilgrim innate group, and pilgrim innate group have beneficial neutrality with patron group. Patron group has beneficial neutrality with Toastmaster group, and Toastmaster have beneficial neutrality with ethnos group. Relationship number 5, total neutrality. The group of virtue have total neutrality with the pharaoh group. The group of cognitive, they have total neutrality with the Marxist group. Ethnos group, they have total neutrality with patron, and the Toastmaster innate group, they have total neutrality with the Pilgrim group. So there are 6 relationships in total. Let's check the relationship number 1, which is called capture. I will describe you such relationship as a shameless, purposeful, and unexpected attack by one group on another. This attack has a target of destruction of another group they don't like. By the way, they also want to seize the resources of the weaker side. The attacker usually notices the other side and watches their behavior. Usually the attacking side is envious, and they see a competitor in the person of another innate group. The attacker thinks that the behavior of the weak side is unacceptable for him, and he may start to attack. The hidden meaning of the attack is the search for total benefit. When they start their attack, they may use brutal methods, alternating with cunning and other methods. Relationship number 2, pressure or education. The expected constant pressure and so-called teaching by one inborn group on another. The stronger side doesn't like the behavior of the another side. They see the values of the group they don't like as wrong for them and try to constantly educate and press on the weak side. The hidden goal of such relationship is the gradual seizure of resources. They try to get some personal benefit out of the weaker side. But in this case, the stronger side may not use destruction because the weak side can periodically defend. Sometimes the weak side thinks that they have a good understanding and relations. But it is a delusion, because in perspective such a relationship can ruin the fate of the weak side. This happens because of perpetual education and pressure, which can break the psyche of the weak side in relationships over time. Relationship number 3, which is called friendship with influence or friendship with benefits. It is a friendship between both parties that do not have conflicts with each other. Such people usually can find mutual understanding and even like each other. But at the same time, one side of such relationship has an unconscious influence on another. This happens due to the fact that the values of stronger group are more important to them and are objectively a bit stronger. Thanks to this, the weaker innate group does not get the opportunity to develop and find their own interests and values. After some amount of time, the weak side may refuse contact with the strong side. It is a wise decision in order to start looking for other opportunities for themselves. But at the same time, the influential side does not use any pressure on the weak side. They want to save friendly relations to the last. Relationship number 4, beneficial neutrality. Both sides are not in conflict here. They do not conflict. But at the same time, they are not friends. Usually they try to avoid each other without any mutual feelings. But at the same time, the stronger side has a hope of receiving some minor benefits. Even if there is no any benefits, they try to remain neutral if there is no other relationships between them. In this case, each side of relationship looks for their own opportunities, interests, and needs. Relationship number 5, total neutrality. These are true neutral relations. Here the both parties and both groups are mysterious to each other. but at the same time they do not feel any negative emotions in each other when they contact. Of course, their stable values and interests and needs are different, but such people do not compete. They even don't look for any benefits from each other. Therefore, they have no conflict and may feel a mutual respect. In such type of relationship, both parties can live together in one place, but if they want to fully develop their innate interests, they need to find compromise or to find another place to live. And the last one, relationship number 6, relationship of understanding. This is the relationship of people from the same innate group. In such a relationship, they find mutual understanding and some friendship. They can easily find an agreement and discuss something together. This is because they have the same innate needs. Such people can help and support each other. Of course, this depends on the situation and specific relationships between them. At the same time, each person feels independent here, tries not to conflict, and do his own business and hobbies. This is the best relationship for living in a neighborhood or in the same area. So once again, it is important to know and realize that the first relationship of capture always depends on other relationships between groups, if there is any. So once again, the Pharaoh group may attack the Marxists, and they do not like Marxists. And you may think that they will attack and destroy the Marxists without any reason. But that is not true, because these two groups have also another type of relationship between them, which is called beneficial neutrality, the relationship number 4. This means that in a normal situation, the pharaohs will not attack the Marxists if the Marxists will have a neutral, non-aggressive relation with them. Also, the pharaohs have a desire to get some minor benefit from the Marxists, because this is the 4th relationship. This will stop the conflict. In other words, the relationship of capture depends on the relationship of beneficial neutrality. And there is no more neutrality. If there is no more neutrality between them, then capturing relationship may start. The same thing happens with other groups, if they have more than one type of relationships. As I mentioned before, for example, the relationship of the virtue group and cognitive group is the same as pharaohs and Marxists have. As for the relationship of pressure, the second relationship, such relationship may depend on the position of the friendship with influence, on the third relationship. For example, this happens in the cognitive group versus ethnos. When they have a position of friendship with influence, the cognitives will not pressure and educate the ethnos group. This works only in case when groups have more than one relationship. Otherwise, the pressure will always work constantly. Our cycle diagram was built in a logical way. We used the analysis and comparison of all the individual qualities and values of the 8 innate groups of people. Such theoretical qualities as age-related thinking and other were used during the creation of this diagram. But the main thing here is that the diagram was checked for coincidence with real historical facts. Therefore, such a scheme has its own repeatability in reality, which means it has significant predictive power. The date of publication is September 15th, 2021. Last edited in November 15th, 2021. Thank you for listening.